I think we made a big difference in political scenario in Iran. For example, today there is as far as working class and labor movement in Iran is concerned, today we have many labor movement leaders like Behnam and the others who came forward, created so many different committees and organizations in the sense of organization of activists, because regime wouldn't let them to go any further, but they have that horizontally. They couldn't go very deep because the police would cut the route, but they can go this way, and so many workers in different provinces of Iran are connected to each other, from Kurdistan to Tehran to everywhere, and we somehow lived that. We had the theory, we had the thing that working class should come forward with your own name. You have to be the face of the, your movement has to have its face. Activists shouldn't be underground anymore. Come forward. And even your concern is security, you are more secure this way against the police than being no-name people working underground. And it happened actually in Iran. Now working movement in Iran, labor movement in Iran is very different from what it was, say, 20 years ago. And the party was talking about that, about being open, come forward, come to the fore, create your institutions. You need leaders, you need practical leaders in front of the people, and go for the other issues. That even happened. Behnam is not only an activist in labor movement, he's an activist in fighting for children's rights in Iran as well. Both. And workers from inside the prisons now, they fight for freedom of political prisoners. Again, as Shahada just said, Behnam is a leader of a riot in prison because they are fighting for freedom of prisoners. That's the situation of labor movement. And I believe that without worker communism, we wouldn't have that situation. Of course, to get the political power, it happens one day. You have to build up. And you are building up. I'm not saying that we don't have any problems. We have so many problems. Because problems grow with the reality. What we were thinking 10 years ago is no good anymore in relation of the party of the society. Because society changes so fast. Because the mechanism of a class struggle changes so fast. And you have to go forward with it. You have to catch up. Otherwise you would be left behind. That's what's happening in the reality. I mean, what you are looking, we have, here we don't have time, we have a new way of looking at the revolution. The mechanism of creating a revolution is very different, say, compared with even 10 years ago. It's very different today. And our party is catching up with that. So what I can say is that in political atmosphere of Iran, our party has got a great impact. We changed many things. The other example, in Belgian Revolution, there were no slogan against capital punishment. And as a result, now this government is condemning, 500, 600 people to execution in one day. In Iran, it's not possible. Nobody who goes to power, it's not possible. They fail, but they cannot do it this way. Because the society against capital punishment. They call it the state crime, and that's the slogan that our party put to the masses. Capital punishment is state crime. Nobody has any right to execute anybody for any reason. That's our logic, that's our propaganda, that's our slogan, and the society agrees with us. That's what we think that's the impact of our party. The other thing is that fighting for the children's rights. We made children's rights a political question in Iran. And I think, as far as I know, Iran is the only country that has got a political movement defending children's rights. Not a humanistic movement, not a human rights movement, a political movement. You are connecting children to the Islamic Republic. The same way you are working with the women's movement in Iran. And you are connecting the emancipation of women to the rule of Islamic Republic, the hijab and the other movement that, again, it's a social issue, a big issue. It's a popular movement in Iran now against hijab, against wear. And I have a list. All of those things they did. Our strategy is, of course, you have to gain power, as I said. But one obstacle, one of our problems is the picture of communism that people have all over the world, in Iran included, is not what we are representing. Communism is either radical, which is inside their factories, or it is in society, it is like Stalinism or Soviet Union or whatever. That's the popular concept. Of course, the West helped to build up that concept of communism. That's one obstacle. That's why I'm telling you, I'm insisting on playing a political role as a working class. If we do that, then the answer in practice, we have the answer for the Soviet Union experience. If you do that, it's not just convincing that we are different from Soviet Union. It goes nowhere. You cannot convince anybody you are different. You have to show them that you are different. And to show them, you have to have a working class, not trade unions, not stability against US, for example, not with Hassan Nasrallah against Israel. Be with the 99% of the people against 1% of the people. And have the banner of children's rights and women's rights and everybody else's rights in your society. If we do that, and we are not enough in Iran, if the picture of communism is international, like anything else in politics these days. So internationally you have to do the best, that picture. And you are a part of it. Especially in the Middle East, you are a part of Europe. You cannot do it alone. That's why I'm insisting on that. As far as our party is concerned, we have so many problems, but it's not one of them. We know, we saw, we answered that question of playing a political role, and that's what our expectation from you. I think that's the path that everyone should start going forward in. And then we can go on. If we had brought more time, we'll talk about our strategy about the party and society, the party and political power, what is the necessity of the party, why trade unionism doesn't answer, why controlling a factory is not the solution, why challenging the bourgeoisie, the state, the rule of bourgeoisie is the solution. All of this, we have a lot of literature on there, and we want to share it with you. If you have time, we will do that. Thank you.
Let's take that question and then we can answer it.
Hello. Welcome to Sweden. My English is not good, but I try to speak Persian. I forget. من میخواستم نظر دوستان راجع به 6 ساعت کار بپرسم که آیا این تبلیغ توی این کشورهایی که مثلا خاورمیانه از شمال آفریقا زوده، یا اینکه مثلا تبلیغ کنیم که 6 ساعت کار، 2 روز در هفته تعطیلی و 1 ماه مرخصی با حقوق. آیا فکر میکنیم که اینو چطوری میشه مثلا ما سر کارمون یه جایی که قهوه میخوردن ما یه دونه 6 زدیم اونجا بدون هیچ تبلیغی. بعد یه مدت کارگران پرسیدن این 6 چیه؟ بعد یواش یواش توضیح دادیم که این یعنی 6 ساعت کار. بعد اون رئیس من خواست اینا گفتیم چیه نوشتی؟ گفتیم چیزی ما ننوشتیم، یه عدد اون بالا. ولی یک جنبشی شد. شما فکر میکنین که زود تبلیغ 6 ساعت کار یا اینکه خوبه؟ و بسیار خوشحال شدم که شماها رو دیدم و ویلکامه.
Thank you very much. I'll just summarize that question. Sorry, I don't know your name. Khosrow. Thanks very much for that, Khosrow. Khosrow just mentioned about your views on the 6-hour day, working day, 6-hour working day, whether that's something practical in the countries in the Middle East or not. And he just mentioned an interesting incident or initiative at his workplace. He said one day we put the figure of 6 on the wall. And after a few days, some workers started asking us, what is this 6? And he explained that it's about this campaign to get to a 6-hour day. And then his boss came to him one day and said, why have you put this on, you know? And so he wants to know, you know, what you think if this could be a campaign in those countries as well. So I'll just remind you as well, Hassan wanted to make a contribution to the previous question, so you can do that, and then if you or anyone else want to answer Khosrow's question.
I think my comment is to the comrade is also related to what the comrade now mentioned. In fact, when we mentioned that we should be closer to workers, I'm not speaking about a spontaneous action for without tactics and strategies. We are not in a charity movement. We are speaking about a workers' revolutionary movement. That means you should be closer to workers, to organize them, to recruit them to your party, to recruit them to your organization, and to recruit the best elements of the movement, and to organize in all of the forms, clandestine, open, and all of creative forms, because when the right moment comes, you will find your organization everywhere, and you will be able to take power. That's why I just want to say that when I say let's organize, that means let's change our tactics in order to be compatible, in order to be in accordance with the strategy, which is to take power. Let's change from a communist movement of protest to a communist movement of power, as our communist movement has always been since the founding periods of Rosa Luxemburg or Lenin or other, revolutionary experiences. Being creative also means that you should give answers to workers. I mentioned an example of a campaign which we raised in support of a group of workers who were fired. They are union leaders, they work in a French company, Airbus company, and they were fired because of their active movement and their action. They went on strike and everything, and the organization even let them down, and then we were with them. We just supported them, accompanied them. We didn't pretend that to be upper than them and having more solutions than them. It was them who provided the solution, and we just accompanied them for the whole strike, which was turned later on into a hunger strike, which lasted 54 days, and successfully part of the workers came back to their work, and another part got a huge compensation for their work. So I think that while organizing, while being creative, we should get rid of this petit bourgeoisie thought of just being the intelligentsia or the intelligent thinking elite. No, we should be real workers. That means we should give leadership to workers and be creative. For example, the 6 hours. The 6-hour day might be one of the creative initiatives to the problem of unemployment in our region. Because remember that the revolution in Tunisia started because of unemployment. Now we have an army of unemployed people. More than 1 million people are looking for jobs. 300,000 of them are university graduates. Maybe 6-hour campaign might be one of the solutions and one of the creative solutions to this problem, and at the same time maybe reducing the age of retirement can be also another creative answer. That means we should be creative, we should give answers to workers, and when they will trust us, we will be closer to power.
Thanks so much, Hassan. Hassan had a question.
در طول بریک که داشتیم اکرم از تجربه کارگر آمریکای لاتین صحبت میکرد از تجربه کارگر آمریکای لاتین صحبت میکرد مبنی به اینکه کارخانه‌هایی که به ورشکستگی اقتصادی رسیده بودن کنترل کارگری بر اونها حاکم شده بود و تجربه بسیار موفقی بود که محصولاتشون رو اون کارخانه‌ها خوب فروش می‌رفت، کارگران موفق شدن ساعت کار کاهش بدن، شرایط رفاهی کاری بهتری برای خودشون به وجود بیارن و از این به عنوان تجربه مثبت و یک اتفاق تازه که میتونه روزنه‌ای باشه برای پیدا کردن یک استراتژی انقلابی صحبت می‌کنه. سوال من اینه که خب اگر حتی ما به این تجربه متوسل بشیم، متکی بشیم، نهایتاً میخواد قدرت دست کسای دیگه است. قدرت کسای دیگه دارن. یک تجربه موفق در یک جزیره کوچک، در یک کارخانه. این چطور میتونه اون هدفی که ما قرار میخوایم سرنوشت جامعه رو به دست بگیریم و به همه اهدافمون برسیم منتهی بشیم.
Thanks so much, Hassan. And I'll take the question from Khalid as well.
سوال من به نحوی طرح شده بود مثلا من کنجکاو و مایلم بدونم که خصوص در مصر سوالم از خداست مسئله به چه صورته. خب گفته شد که طبقه کارگران در تونس هم در مصر ستون فقرات انقلابات بود و این انقلابات اساسا بر دوش طبقه کارگر تونست شکل بگیره و اشاره کردیم که مسئله رهبری سیاسی غیبتش باعث شد که این انقلابات سر از اونجای در بیاد. الان جواب داد، هم حاتم جواب داد، هم خدا. من هنوز به طور مشخص میخوام بپرسم چه درس‌هایی گرفته شده و الان این بحث در چه ابعادی در بین اکتیویست‌ها در جریانه به طور مشخص، سواء اینکه خودشون چطور فکر میکنن، چه بحثی، چه دیسکاشنی الان در بین جریانات سیاسی بر سر این مسئله مشخص در جریانه و من خلیل ایوان اگه بخوام برم دنبال کنم باید به کدوم حزب سیاسی و بحثی کدوم فرد معین رو بخونم که بدونم امروز فعل و فعالات سیاسی در سطح عالی کجا داره در جریانه. این چیزی هست که ما بحثی در جریان اساسا در این سطح یا نه.
Okay, thanks very much. So I'll just go through both questions. The first question from Hassan Salehi, which is directed to Akram. Hassan said that during the break, Hassan and Akram were talking about the workers in Latin America and the takeover of bankrupt factories. And Akram was mentioning that as a good example of a good initiative, and because it led to improvement in workers' conditions and all that. Hassan said that's fine, but that is like something, a nice island within a huge sea, of which still is not in our control, and so political power is still in somebody else's hands. So how do we approach this? The issue and the problem remains in a way. So that's the question to Akram. And the second question from Khalid Kaywan is mainly, I think actually he said that this question was raised in a way, but he's still interested and he wants to know about another aspect of it. And the question is that the speakers and certainly Hoda as well mentioned about revolutions in Egypt and Tunisia and how the working class was the backbone of those revolutions. And the lessons we drew from that was that the revolutionary leadership was absent as the cause of the failure of those revolutions. So Khalid's question specifically is what lessons are we drawing from those revolutions and the absence of the revolutionary leadership? And he wants to know whether discussions are going on right now amongst the activists in Egypt, in Tunisia, of what went wrong and what the solution should be. And specifically, he wants also to know, he wants to know what discussions are right now going on amongst the activists, the political activists. Because if this is such a huge issue, which we think it is, Khalil as well thinks, that the absence of the revolutionary party or leadership is being identified as one of the issues. Is this being discussed amongst the political activists, or are they looking for answers or not? And in those societies, can you put your finger on a particular political party, specific political party? Can you name one which Khalil personally can go on the internet and follow and see what discussions are taking place or not? So these are two questions. So whichever order you would like to take it, and whoever wants to go first. Yes? Who wants to?
I have a question.
We'll take it and then as your question will be the last one. Is that okay?
Okay.
Is that all right? So
Yeah.
we've got another 15 minutes.
Okay, it's all right.
Yeah. Sorry for that.
بهرام من یه سوال دارم قبل از اینکه خدا جواب بده. میخوایی بگم من سوال.
I had another question. Is it related? If it is specifically hold on, yes, please go.
اگه مربوطه میتونی صحبت. آره مربوطه این سوال صحبت که.
He has a question.
خیلی خوش اومدید. من یه سوال دارم و یه پیشنهاد. اول پیشنهادم رو میگم. به نظر مصر، تونس، عراق و همه کشورهای دیگه که یه جنبش اعتراضی قوی رو تجربه کردن، یک صدا احتیاج دارن. به جایی که این صدای متحد شنیده بشه. و من فکر میکنم که نیر چنل تیوی یکی از این امکانات میتونه باشه و اون رو توی این مسئله فکر کنم. اما سوالم اینه که فعالیت کارگران، فعالیت اتحادیه‌های کارگری میتونه به بهبود نسبی وضعیت کارگران منجر بشه یا راه نشه. اما برای رها شدن از شر سرمایه‌داری باید یه حزب سیاسی باشه و کارگران چه در مصر، تونس، عراق و هر جای دیگه در جهان به یک حزب سیاسی کارگری و کمونیستی احتیاج داره. من از اول جلسه نبودم، سر کار بودم و بخش زیادی از جلسه از دست دادم. شاید شما راجع به مسئله صحبت کرده باشید، ولی من دلم می‌خواد که کماکان این سوال مطرح کنم و نظر شما رو بگید.
Ask your question as well, so we'll take all of it together.
من از همه پانلیست‌ها ممنونم که تا الان بودن و ما رو این جلسه رو تحمیل کردن. سوال من اینه که عنوان این جلسه با کارگران شروع شده. خب استنباطی که به نظر میاد در آخر جلسه میشه از این بخشی از این پانل کرد اینه که فقط کارگران نیستن که جامعه رو تشکیل میدن. به این معنا زنان هم هستن، یعنی مشکل اجتماعی مشکل زنان هم هست، به خصوص تو کشورهای اسلامی مشکل اجتماعی مشکل کودکان هم هست و غیره و غیره. اگر استنباطی که از این جلسه میشه در نهایت این باشه که این جلسه و این آدمایی که اونجا نشستن برمیگردن کشورهاشون. سوال من اینجا دقیقا اینه که از کدوم یک از بخش‌هایی که من گفتم شروع میکنن به تشکیل یک حرکت اجتماعی، بنیان گذاشتن یه نهاد، تشکیل یه حزب، یعنی از زنان شروع میکنن، از کارگران شروع میکنن، از کودکان شروع میکنن، یا از همه جامعه شروع میکنن. به یک معنا اولویت در شکل دادن کدوم جنبشه؟ مرسی.
Okay, thanks a lot for that. I'll come to your question later because I think we've got quite a few. Is that all right? Yes. So I'll let Hoda speak now and then. Sorry? Then I'll translate it. Yeah. So. Okay, it doesn't matter.